Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. I'm here to give my observations and thoughts on the sprint race of the Chinese Grand Prix. And starting off talking about the sprint race itself, I think it was brilliant to witness the racing, considering the race happened at 8:30 in the morning here in India, so it was kind of a nice thing to wake up to. I feel like the new format still lacks a bit of a catch to spice up the weekend for it being a sprint race. The special weekend over the normal race weekend. I still believe that the original sprint format was so much better, the one that we had back in 2021 and in 2022, where the finishing results of the sprint race decided the starting positions for the feature race. I feel like it had a nice catch and a jeopardy for the weekend to really spice up the sprint race. I also think some changes need to be made with the point system for the sprint race, as I feel like even in a sprint race, only the faster teams get to benefit to score points, with the slower teams walking out of the weekend scoring nothing. Now, talking about the events of the race, let's get into the first one. Is Lando too fast but mistake prone? Lando is a fast driver, I think we all can agree upon it, but I feel like when the pressure gets to him, he tends to make some big mistakes that ends up costing him big points. I mean, for instance, this sprint race should have seen him finish at least somewhere between P2 to P4, but he ended the race P6 because he decided to stick it around the outside of Lewis Hamilton. Considering everyone knew that there's going to be a lack of grip, especially off the racing line, the ideal decision should have been for him to stick behind Lewis Hamilton till the DRS was enabled so that he can repass Lewis to take the lead of the sprint race. I mean, yes, he was racing Lewis Hamilton, but Lewis Hamilton was not in a W10 or a W11. He was in a W15. So I feel like what he did by sticking it around the outside of him at turn 1 was a bit amateur for a driver of his caliber and experience. Daniel Ricciardo builds on the sprint shootout. Ricciardo, after having a brilliant qualifying session at yesterday's sprint shootout, continues to build on it in the sprint race as well to start P15 and finish the sprint race P11. I mean, he had a pretty quiet race from start to finish. I actually kind of forgot about his race till I saw the final results of the sprint race. Considering he made up all those positions in a span of 19 laps was very much encouraging and reassuring of his pace. So it was a solid display from Ricciardo at the sprint race, and I hope he carries forward this momentum for the rest of the week and hopefully for rest of the season as well. Hamilton's brilliant drive to P2. I mean, though Lewis Hamilton finished the race P2, I feel like it was still an incredible race from him. The move that he made on Lando was very much of a champion's attitude. I mean, he saw the gap and he placed the car in the right place to make the move, to make it actually stick, to take the lead of the sprint race. I genuinely thought that the Chinese sprint race would be the race that breaks Lewis's winless streak, with both the Red Bulls being stuck behind a DRS train, and Lewis was able to fend off Alonso to keep him outside the DRS zone. But once Max got through Alonso, I knew that the overtake was inevitable. Nonetheless, it was a very solid effort from Lewis Hamilton. Lewis managed a solid pace throughout the session. He made the best out of the car at the early stages of the race, which gave him the buffer to hold on to P2 at the sprint. Red Bulls come to life. Though Max seemed to suffer with a battery-related issue at the early stages of the race, once he got it all dialed in, he made quick work of Alonso to then take the lead of the race by overtaking Lewis Hamilton, from where he just charged into the distance. I mean, a 10+ second lead in a 19-lap race, that too he only took the lead of the race halfway through the session. Bonkers stuff. For Checo, I think it was very much unfortunate because I feel like he had the pace to finish P2, but unfortunately he got stuck behind the Alonso DRS train, which was very hard to break. But his opportunistic move on Carlos and Alonso was very much fun to watch, and once he got past the pair of them, he managed to sail off into the distance. And maybe given 2 more laps, he would have got P2 as well. Such was the pace of the Red Bull at the sprint race. Carlos Sainz's frantic moves for P3. Carlos Sainz was having a solid race until the final stages of the sprint, but as he got impatient sitting behind Alonso, his moves started getting a bit frantic and desperate, which led to a plutonic battle between 4 cars for P3 that ended a man's race and almost sent his teammate into the Narnia land. But I think that's where the sprint race really peaked, so I'm not going to complain about it. So thanks to Carlos Sainz for giving us such an epic battle for P3. It was aggressive, very aggressive actually, but it was fun to watch. And if it wasn't for that, I feel like the sprint race would have been pretty dry, and no pun intended there. So yes people, these are my thoughts and opinion on the sprint race of the Chinese Grand Prix, and I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit the like button and let me know down in the comments on what were your thoughts on the sprint race as well. I'm curious to know, so leave it down in the comments. The feature race qualifying observation video will be up on the channel in a couple of hours time, so stay tuned for that. And with that being said, subscribe to the Renmeister channel if you haven't already, and also hit that bell icon while you're at it so you get notified whenever I upload a brand new video. And until next time, it's me Vinesh from Renmeister, and I'm out. Love you guys, stay safe, peace.